All right, this video is on simplifying algebraic expressions. And for this first problem, what we want to do when we're simplifying algebraic expressions is we want to identify which of these terms are called like terms. So a like term means they have the same variable. Okay, we talked about this year. We talked about the number before the variable being called the first name and then the variable being called the last name, and that you can only put them together if they have the same last name. So for example here, we've got 6n, we have 7n, we have 4, and then we have a positive n. So anything with an n we can put together, but the 4 we cannot put with any of the n's because it does not have an n. The other thing that I want to point out to you is that you have to be really, really careful when you're doing these problems to make sure that you are, in fact, looking at the sign that comes before the term. What I mean by that is on letter A, the 6n is positive. We know it's positive because there's no sign, okay? We can go ahead and put that with the 7n, but if we look before the 7n, we're going to notice that this is actually negative. And then we can put that with the other n down here, and if we look at the sign that comes before that, that's positive. So we really need to be focusing on the sign that comes before the term. All right, so putting these together, we basically are going to be looking at just the front part of the number to see how many n's we have. So we have 6 minus 7 and then plus 1. So 6 minus 7, I can do the 2-line rule. That's going to be different signs difference. And when I take the difference, I get -1. And then plus this one, I end up getting 0. So this problem is unique because I end up with 0 n's, which means I'm not going to write any of them. Okay, if you write 0n, what you need to remember is that a number next to a variable means multiplication, and 0 times anything, whether it's a number or a variable, is 0. Okay, so this is an example where all of the n's actually disappear. And what we're left with is -4. All right, let's take a look at the next example. The next example has 4y, y, 5, and 3. So anything with the y's we can put together. I'm going to go ahead and box the y's, and I'm going to identify their sign. So the 4y is positive, and it looks like the other y is positive. The other thing I'm going to identify is I'm going to go ahead and put a 1 in front of this y because I know that's a 1y. Okay, so I can put these together, but notice the -5 and the +3 I can't put together because I can put those together, I just can't put them with the y's because, again, they don't have y's. So this is 4y plus 1y should give me 5y. And then it looks like I am able to go ahead and put the 5 with the 3. Notice that the 5 is negative, the 3 is positive, so that's different signs difference. When I take the difference, I get 2. Larger number is 5, so that means there's more negatives, and therefore we get 5y minus 2. For the next example, okay, it looks like we have a bunch of x's, but it looks like that 2 doesn't have an x, so I'm not going to be able to put that together. So looking at this 7x, there's no sign out front. We assume it's positive. This 7x is negative, and this x is positive, and remember it is a 1x. So basically we have a positive 7 minus 7 plus 1. So we have 0 plus 1, which is 1. So we end up with 1x here, and then minus 2. Now, a couple of things that I want to point out to you. Some students, when they type in their Google form, they might put in a 1 before the x, like 1x minus 2. Some students might type it like this. Okay, I will accept either answer on your Google form. The other thing is we can actually take the x and the 2 and we can switch them for this. What I mean by that is that the 2 can come first. Just remember the 2 is negative. And then the x can come second. Just remember the x is positive. So I could accept negative 2 plus x, or I could even accept negative 2 plus 1x. So I'm going to have to be really careful when I grade your homework for this assignment, because there's going to be multiple ways that you can write the same answer. All right, why don't you try D, pause the video, and give it a shot. Okay, letter D has G's and numbers in it, so it looks like we can go ahead and put the G's together. So we have 2G and we have 8G. Notice one is negative, one is positive. So we have 2, a positive 2, minus an 8. Okay, notice you can do two things. You can say, okay, the 2 is positive, the 8's negative, that's different signs difference, or you can do the 2-line rule here, and then you recognize that the 2 is positive and the 8 is negative. So different signs difference as we subtract. 8 minus 2 is 6. The larger number is negative, because that was the 8. So there were more negatives. So we get negative 6G. And then I'm going to go ahead and put together my negative 3 and my plus 11. So let's see, negative 3 plus 11 would also be different signs difference. Okay, and 11 minus 3 is 8. And it looks like the bigger number is the positive number. So we end up with negative 6G plus 8. All right, go ahead and pause the video and see if you can do E and F. All right, letter E has N's, more N's, and even more N's. Notice the 6 is by itself. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and write 6. And then let's think about this. My N's, I have a negative 3 plus a 2, and then minus a 1. So negative 3 plus 2 would be different signs difference. That would give me negative 1. And then negative 1 minus 1 would give me negative 2. Okay, so this is going to give me negative 2 N. And for the last problem, we have J. Keep in mind that's a positive 1J plus a 0.2J. So we have a 1.2J, and then we cannot put that with a 4. Be careful when you are typing into your Google form. A couple of things that I want you to be aware of to make sure that you're getting these right. First of all, no spaces. Okay, what I mean by that is if I were to type this problem up here, my answer, don't type 6 and then a space and then a negative and then, 2n. Okay, no spaces at all. Just type 6 minus 2n all in one motion there, no spaces. The other thing is, as you're solving these problems, please, please, please write them out on a separate sheet of paper. So separate sheet, and then don't forget, take a picture of that separate sheet. What that does, and attach that to Google Classroom. And attach to Google Classroom. What that does is it allows me to see your work, and when I see your work, it gives me the opportunity to be able to help you identify any mistakes that you've made. Okay? Hope you guys have a great day.